Here, once again back with another story time. I'm sorry I haven't posted animation memes lately. I Flip decided to fucking kill itself for some reason. So yeah, I don't know what happened to Flip. It kept crashing on and made one of the memes I was working on. And sadly, Flip ended up deleting some of my projects, and I can't get them back. So hopefully, Flip does not crash on me if I don't use it for about a week or so. Anyways, so I'm back again with another story time. So this story time, the theme of it will be about injuries, from childhood to current day, because I actually recently got injured one time, this morning actually. So this morning, when I woke up, I decided to go take a shower. So I did, just chilling. And out of nowhere, like the moment I got out the shower, I did the mistake of not putting my feet on the fucking rug. So because I was very tired, and the fact is that I'm not a cold water person. I usually take a shower with hot water. Even in the summer, I still fucking take a shower in the hot water because it's better. And because it makes me very sleepy. If I drink anything warm, or if I smell anything hot, or I'm fucking sweating as hell, then eventually I'll feel sleepy and then fall asleep. So because I was in a tired state, I decided, hey, let me just, miss the rug apparently, because I'm mad tired. Because, it's like 5 in the fucking morning. And I ended up slipping. I ended up landing on my fucking back. But thankfully I didn't hit the tub, because if I did, I would have cracked my skull. But thankfully I didn't, because the floor is not that hard. I mean, it is, but not that hard. Anyways, so now let's do first injury I had today. Another injury starts from childhood. Well, my very first injury. I remember this injury like it was yesterday. So around age 5, I talked about this injury, by the way. Well, not really. I think this is like my second injury, but this is my first injury. So I don't know if this counts as an injury or an accident. So yeah. So there's this one night, me and my mom, my dad they're about to tuck me into bed, give me my goodnight kisses and read bedtime stories for me. So I had this pajama that had Disney princesses. The type of pajama I had was like one of those dress-looking pajamas from childhood. I don't know if some of you guys might remember it, but you might remember these type of pajamas. So anyways, so I had the tendency, and I still kind of have a unhealthy habit of chewing things, such as straws, anything bendable, including wire apparently, and apparently that's getting out of control. But thankfully I found ways to prevent this. So yeah, that's a good thing, because when I got my Invisalign, they gave me these little bendy straw looking thingy. So I used them to chew every time I'm bored. So it kind of got my habits in control. But during this time, my habits just started. So I was chewing apparently on the skirt part of my pajama. And while my parents were reading the bedtime story, I had the audacity to yank the pajama. Like, I was chewing it, and I started yanking it. So when I yanked it, I felt something off in my mouth. I'm like, what the fuck? So I decided to tell my parents I think something is wrong with my mouth. I told them, hey, one of my teeth feel weird. And they're like, they feel weird. I'm like, yeah. And the moment I put my finger in my mouth, I felt something wiggling. I'm like, what is that? And I told my parents, I freaked out. I'm like, there's something wiggling. And they checked, they're like, oh, seems like you have a loose tooth. I'm like, I have a loose what? A loose tooth. And keep in mind, this is the first tooth that fell out. Thanks a lot, tooth, because of you. My fucking teeth is a fucking wreck, and now I need surgery to get my fucking teeth aligned before it's too late. So anyways, so that's to the side. So my tooth didn't come out. Of course, it was wiggling. I couldn't eat without it fucking bothering me. Plus, as the tooth was about to, go away on its own, like it was about to come out, it always got in the way when I was eating. For example, when I'm eating, I sometimes had to check the food to make sure my tooth didn't fucking fall out. Because, imagine this. your tooth falls out when you're eating and you swallow it. That's scary. Anyways, so eventually my tooth did ended up falling out, and my mom's like, put on your pillow, you'll get money from the tooth fairy. So, which I did. Where the fuck is my money? I want my money. I want my refund. I want my tooth back, because I don't know where the fuck happened to it. It was gone. So anyways, that to the side. So, next injury, which is the one I already talked about in my Amphantasia video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Anyways, so on my Amphantasia video, I mentioned that I have Amphantasia. So yeah, I kind of have these memories because I can hear them, so that's why I could still remember them. And also because my brothers mentioned it one time when we were having a conversation. So anyways, this story happened when I was still 5. I was still a child. And I remember it like, it was yesterday. It was like a very long time ago. So anyways, I was on my parents' bed, and they were about to go to bed. And I thought it was a great idea to recreate that one Puss in Boots scene where Humpty Dumpty is on the edge, and he decides to sacrifice himself. And he says, "So long, brother." You know, that scene. So I thought, hey, let me recreate that. And I looked at my parents, and I did a trust fall. But before I even did it, I said, "Farewell, friend." And I just literally just trust falled onto my back, and bam, onto my head. And I don't know what happened. I couldn't feel the pain because I was shocked. My parents were freaking out, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're okay, you're okay." I'm like, huh? I couldn't react. I don't remember if I was crying or not. Like I said, I don't remember it clearly. But when I asked my mom about it, she was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were crying." I'm like, okay. But it is that I ended up in the hospital to make sure I didn't have any brain damage. And thankfully I didn't, but it did affect my memory, and I can't mentally image it now. Anyways, thanks to a head injury. I fucking hate you because you literally gave me gave me an ability that I can't be proud of, aka having Amphantasia. Sorry. Just had to let that out. Third injury. This is my very first knee injury. Why I said the first knee injury? Because you'll see why later on in the video. So, I am currently 6 years old. This was during the summertime. So, I lived in an apartment in this place called Little Italy, because we used to call it Little Italy because it was basically like a mini Italy, legitimately. Bakeries, restaurants, you name it, everything had to do with Italy. Bro, even I made friends with people at that fucking place, because holy shit, I really, really grew up with Italian food more than Mexican food. I mean, yeah, there was a bit of Japanese food, Mexican food, you name it, American food, but mostly Italian food. I usually like going to the bakery nearby. Anyways, back to the side. So, like I said, I live in this place called Little Italy. Well, I used to. I still miss it. So, I had an apartment, and I lived on the second floor. And in front of my apartment, well, I should mention the bar that we had. Literally, you go downstairs, and there's a bar next to the apartment. Literally, just next to it. It's like together with the apartment. So, of course, you know, the bar is there. And then in front of that, we have the park. A very huge park that sometimes we see kids play in and everything. Every single summer they turn on the sprinklers, which is fun because you get to run around the water, shoot water guns, throw water balloons, all of that good shit. I'm sorry if I'm stuttery. I have a tendency to stutter sometimes. Anyways, so one time I was playing in the water and it was getting pretty late. So my parents just decided to call it a day and told me to pack my things and get myself dried up because we're gonna go home. So I'm like, okay. So I decided to run. Big mistake, because if you don't know, the ground that was in the park was the type of ground material that when water is poured on it, it gets very slippery. So I didn't knew about that. I didn't know about at that time that type of material can actually be very slippery. And so I started sprinting. And yes, I was sprinting with water shoes. Not any water shoes, those plastic looking water shoes I had. which ended up cutting my fucking toe one time. I'll get to that later on in the video. Anyways, so I started sprinting towards but then I ended up falling chest first. I didn't hit my head, thankfully, or my face, so yeah, I'm good. But I hit my knee. So what I did was I landed knee first to break the fall, but I ended up landing my chest too. But I didn't get hurt by my chest, but my knee. And I look at my knee and I see blood everywhere on the ground, leaking from my knee. And I started crying. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't actually say the curse word. I just, started crying. Normal kid cry. I started crying and crying and crying, and my mom was like trying to comfort me along with my siblings, and I wasn't having it at all. But then we went to the house and I got a band-aid. Not before she put fucking alcohol on it, because holy shit, that thing burned like hell. It felt like Satan just touched me. Seriously. Anyways, another injury story. Injury story number 4. So, I literally just mentioned it. So, one time, I would say, I think I was like around 6 still. I'm not sure, but anyways. So, remember those water shoes I mentioned that look like plastic? So yeah, those shoes weren't your normal typical shoes. They look like sandals, like normal ordinary sandals. My mom recently got them because I really, really like them. So I decided to wear them for the sprinkler part in the park itself. So I decided to wear them on the day we were gonna go play in the water. So I decided, to take them and just play around the water. And keep in mind, my injury from my knee already healed, so I'm fine. So one time, I was like running around and everything, and when it comes to those type of materials, sometimes your foot gets to slip. Like, it slides a bit if you run too fast, because you could literally stop and it slips. So one time that happened, and I didn't notice it until later on when I was about to remove my shoe. I see blood on my sandal. I'm like, where is that blood coming from? And I see on my toe, in the middle of my toe. I could have swore I saw my bone at that point, because I swear to God, the moment I saw that, I saw flesh, I saw bone, I saw blood. I showed my mom, and she freaked the fuck out, and she immediately took liquid glue. By the way, if you don't know what liquid glue is, this is purple liquid that you get from a pharmacy here in America. I don't know if they sell them in other countries, but this is a type of band-aid that when you pour it, it's like a liquid at first, but then it gets very, very hard, and it prevents infection and everything, which is a good thing. And she poured it on the injury, and thankfully it healed successfully. So yeah, that's good, but I didn't use the shoes anymore because my mom knew it was a danger. Anyways, story time number 5, my 5th injury. Knee injury, once again, knee injury part 2. So this happened in the same park. You won't believe it. Same age. Same fucking age. So anyways, I was running around the same area, and all of a sudden I tripped and splat. I landed on my chest once again, but in order to break my fall, I used both of my knees this time instead of one knee. And guess what? I scraped one of my knees. Which knee? The knee I got injured first of all. And I started crying again, and of course I got the liquid bandage treatment, and yeah, it started healing, so it was a good thing. Alright, my injury story number 6. Same thing, knee injury part 3. How many knee injuries do I have? I don't know, but some of them I don't remember, but I have a bunch of scars on both of my knees. So, thankfully it wasn't on the left knee, it was on the right knee. So, one time, this time it wasn't in the same place, it wasn't at the park, it wasn't at my apartment. We just recently moved to the apartment, to a different apartment, and I was with my siblings. So, this was the time I was about to go to school. It was pretty early in the morning, like very, very early in the morning, but it was bright outside since I think it was during the summer. So, me and my brothers are messing around, and I had this plushie. It was a duck plushie, by the way. So me and my brother were tossing around, and I was in the door frame. Keep in mind, this door frame is very well kept, but it's just the bottom part that is very dangerous, because there is a rusty needle poking out, and we couldn't fix it no matter how hard we tried. So we thought, hey, it shouldn't be a hazard, so we'll be fine. So when me and my brothers were tossing around, for some reason I lost my balance and ended up landing my knee onto the rusty fucking metal nail. And it took me a while to react, because when I pulled away, I saw blood. My fucking entire skin peeled the fuck off. Like it teared off. Like think of those bandages, like when you're about to take off a bandage with a Vaseline. That's how it fucking looked like. And my god, it looked like a fucking city of fucking Japan or something. It looked like Japan. Not really. It looked like, it was so square looking. I don't know. I don't remember it, but I could have sworn it looked like Japan. So anyways, I looked at my knee and I started freaking the fuck out. I'm like, oh hell no, I don't fucking like this. Plus I have my leggings too, because by the way, during this time I used to wear those school uniforms to have the skirts and everything, and I had to wear leggings, and I swear to god, when I saw my leggings ripped, I was so fucking sad. I'm like, no, my leggings. So anyways, but the most important thing was my knee, because I was bleeding pretty badly. And my brothers tried to cheer me up and everything, and it didn't work. Eventually, they had to call my mom, and my mom's like, I'm not gonna go to school, but I'm gonna have to get my knee treated. So we went to her job, by the way, and she worked at the laundry, too. So I had to sat down in the office until she found an alcohol bottle, and she found bandages, because at home we didn't have any bandages, and we recently ran out of the liquid bandage, so we were screwed. So anyways, she poured some alcohol in it, and it burned like hell. I started screaming even more because I hurt. But then I got used to it eventually, and she put the band-aid. So thankfully my injury healed eventually, because not only did I use the band-aid, but on the same day we got liquid bandage and she poured it. But something strange about this injury happened when it was healed. So when I got my scar, this weird looking ball looking thingy just formed on the scar, and I don't know why. It looked like a cyst at first, but it started to bother my mom a lot, and I was very concerned, because I was like, why did it form? So we decided to go to the pharmacist and ask if we could find anything to remove this thing. I still don't know what it was, but it was some round looking cyst looking thing. It wasn't big, but it was getting bigger and bigger as my healing was still in process. And we decided to get something from the pharmacist. The pharmacist recommended us a medication, and which we did, and apparently it dehydrated the little bump, I guess you could call it, and eventually one time when my mom was putting on my leggings, it fell off. It just popped off and fell on the floor. And I'm like, oh, but that was something. Yeah, I still don't know what it was. So anyways, next story time. Story time number 7. And keep in mind, I still have a scar. So I don't remember how old I was, but I still remember the story because I have a scar. And this scar has a story behind it, so let me explain it to you. So I used to visit my uncle a lot, and he had 2 pet turtles, and he has a cat. He had a cat, I forgot her name, but it was a black and white cat. It was a tuxedo cat. And keep in mind, I was a little kid, and even now I still love cats. Cats are my favorite pets. They're very loyal to me. If you hate cats, I'm sorry, but don't be my friend if you don't like cats. Cats are adorable. Anyways, back to my uncle's cat. So I was very, very, very over affectionate over this cat because I really, really like cats. So I was trying to give it all the attention, and I did the mistake of rubbing its belly, and it didn't go well, because not only did the cat started to get mad, it started biting my hand and everything. I mean, yeah, it hurt, but the most mistake I made in that same day was putting my face like very close to the cat between a bar that was on a chair. So the cat saw me and basically swiped at me, but it didn't. Gladly didn't hit me in the eye or anything, but it did. Like she did claw me in the eyebrow, and it left a very very nasty gash. And of course I started crying, and I got a band-aid and I covered my entire eye. Apparently, I don't remember it, but my mom told me I covered my entire eye. And I will show you a photo right now. If you see that shiny part, you see that part where like the hair isn't growing. That's my scar. Yeah, it's fully healed, so yeah, that's a good thing. So story time number 8. So one time, I was in, I guess you could say I was around in 7th grade or 6th grade, but I'm not sure. But one time, me and my friends were walking down, the gym, you know, we were walking around, and for some reason, for some dumb reason, we found this, like, cardboard, like a piece of cardboard lying on the floor, and we decided to slide down the stairs, you know, the cardboard thingy, like, instead of having the cardboard box as, like, a sleigh, we decided to use the long cardboard that we found and slide down the stairs. So, of course, I was first, and if you don't know, cardboard does not go well with stairs, especially long ones and that are rectangular. So when I went sliding down, keep in mind there was like 20 stairs if I could count, because these stairs led to the fire escape. So I slid down, and the cardboard got stuck, and I rolled down the fucking stairs. I hate talking about the story because it was so embarrassing. So I literally just rolled down the stairs, and I'm literally just laying on the floor. My friends were like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Am I dead?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not okay." So anyways, yeah, I don't know what happened afterwards. I don't remember it, but I do remember the injury and everything. Alright, this isn't my injuries or anything, but I'm going to mention this because I remember it. And there is a bunch of injuries I want to talk about because some of my friends and my family to talk about it. First person to get injured, well, talk about their story. Was one of my brothers. So, all three of my brothers were obsessed with Power Rangers back in the day, like back in their old times where, you know, the phones did not exist and they had the square computers, you know, all that good shit from the 2000s and 19s and everything. So they were very obsessed with Power Rangers, especially one of my brothers. Even to this day, he's still obsessed, and he still hasn't caught up to fucking Dragon Ball yet, because he's watching Naruto, literally. Anyways, so the person I just mentioned, aka my brother, the one who still hasn't caught up with Dragon Ball. So him is very obsessed with Power Rangers back in the day. And he, my brother, and a cousin of ours, they were playing, you know, messing around with broken broomsticks. And one of my cousins, I think my brother ended up cutting my other brother on the side of his head, leaving like a nasty scar. He even showed it to me. It started to heal and everything, but you can still see it. And he's like, I remember like it was yesterday. He always says that. He always mentions it. And also another story, same brother by the way. I don't know why he's always getting injured. Because first it was that, and then the story that he told me that when he was playing with my cousin in the soccer field, the soccer ball went into the bush. And he decided to go after the soccer ball. But when he and my cousin came out, they started crying because they were covered, and I mean covered in wasps. They were stinging him all over their bodies, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't imagine how that looked like. But thankfully my aunt caught them off, and you know, they got sent to the hospital, got treated, so thankfully they're okay. And another injury, which I'm glad that he survived because things could have been so bad, was during the time we had a snowstorm here in New York. It was a very, very bad snowstorm, and the roads were very frozen. So my brother had this electrical bike that he rides around. So he was riding it one time, and he was on his way home, when out of nowhere, he ends up losing control of the bike, and eventually he ends up slipping, and he got very, very injured. and he couldn't get up properly, and I was so upset, and I was worried that he was gonna be paralyzed because I didn't know how bad it was. Cause I saw the blood, I saw the scars and everything. I didn't want to know that he could have done that. Like, I didn't want to see him in that situation. I didn't want him to be paralyzed or anything because he couldn't walk straight. But thankfully he's alright. He can walk properly and he's okay. He still has the scars from the injuries, but he's fine. Anyways, another injury was from one of my friends, and I will say this is kind of like a funny injury, but at the same time it's not, because they had this pool and they had this diving board, so they thought it was a great idea to use the diving board, which, by the way, the diving board was not even bouncy at all. So when he tried to make a dive, he slipped on the diving board and he ended up missing the entire pool, and yeah, he went out in the grass and he ended up hitting his forehead on a vase, which shattered, and he had pieces of a vase shattered parts on his forehead, and he had to remove them with pliers and everything. Yeah, I felt bad for him. And he still has a cool scar, by the way. It looks like he was in the middle of a fight, but yeah. I used to call him Scarface, but not anymore, because I don't want to be mean to them. Anyways, another injury actually I mentioned in this video is from my boyfriend. If he's watching this, hello Cammy, I love you. Anyways, so he might remember this one time because he told me this. I think 2 days after we started dating. So he mentioned the fact. Well, actually, this happened during a conversation we had. So before we had a Discord call, by the way. He was sitting down in his chair when all of a sudden one of his wheels came loose and he fell. And he's like, I fell off the chair. I'm like, and I started saying, why you fell off the chair and everything. I was so worried for him. I was like, are you okay? This and that. I was like very, very worried. And then he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just fixing the wheel. I'm like, okay, that's good. And we got on the Discord call. He mentions it. I'm like, I know, and I got worried. And he's like, yeah, but you don't have to say it like that. I'm like, I was very worried. That's how I fucking act with people who get injured. I don't like it. I don't like seeing people injured. Literally. One time my nephew fell because a kid pushed him in the library. I swear to God, I'm gonna drop a kid. Could I fucking get it? I'm just kidding. I won't drop a kid. Unless... I'm just kidding. Anyways, my nephew fell because one of the kids at the library pushed him. And I got very mad, but I got worried because he started crying. And I'm like, no, he hurt my nephew. So yeah, basically, I guess that's all I gotta say. Actually, wait, one more story. Okay. So believe it or not, I forgot to mention this. This is my injury, by the way. So there's one time when I was still living in Little Italy. We had this, you get the playground and everything. So one time I was in the playground by myself, and out of nowhere, this kid comes out of nowhere. Some Asian kid, I should mention they're Asian because I can't, because we eventually ended up seeing each other. Surprisingly in school too. He was in my same preschool, and I saw him again in high school. Are we friends? No. I see ourselves as enemies. He counts me as his friend, but I'm like, I'm not your friend, bro. I don't forgive you. Anyways, so I would just call him Katie. Yeah, Katie. Yeah, with a C, not a K. So, you know what? Cody. Cody is a good name. Okay, so Cody is in the playground. I didn't recognize him because he looked different. Of course, I was a stupid little kid. No good memory, apparently. And, so I was beneath the, playset. And beneath the playset, you have this little station that looks like a bakery. You get to pretend that you're in a bakery. I was letting my imagination go wild. This was before I got my head injury, by the way. And this kid, I thought it was raining at first, but turns out this kid was spitting on me for some reason. And it was, oh my god, it's disgusting. Now that I remember it. Oh my god. This kid was drooling on purpose. And he kept spinning and spinning and spinning. And keep in mind, the playset, like on top of the playset, there's holes. Meaning, anyone can fucking, I don't know, fuck around with those things. And this kid's letting his drool drop on top of my fucking hair. And oh my god, I'm disgusted. And I can't believe I thought it was rain at first, but no. Turns out he was spitting on me. And my mom saw that. And she tried to look for his father. She did. She was about to explain to him what happened until this kid starts chasing me. And I ended up tripping because I didn't pay attention. And, but you not believe this, but I fell face first. I went like, literally, onto the concrete floor. I got up, I touched my forehead, and I'm bleeding. And I had a very, very nasty fucking injury. So eventually the father apologized. He got mad at his kid. He took him away. I never saw the kid until like later on because he ended up moving to my preschool. And I recognized the kid. And I'm like, you again. But here's the thing. I had to use a frozen pea pack. Like a vegetable pack. But it was peas only. And I had to take that thing to school. So basically, you could tell how people reacted when I brought a freaking pack of frozen vegetables and held it to my fucking forehead. Everyone, even the teacher looked at me. She was like, oh, are you okay? I'm like, bitch, do I look okay? Do I look fucking okay? Look at me. Look at my fucking injury. You know, everyone was so worried and everything, but I'm like so pissed off because I'm like, I can't believe I thought that was rain. It's nasty, really. And then in high school, when I saw the kid again, because the kid apparently recognized me first, by the way. I'm like, who are you? He's like, you remember the kid, you know, from the playground? You know, the kid who sort of just drilled on you? I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry about it. You know, I was a dumb kid. I'm like, I don't fucking forgive you. You fucking did that on purpose. Look at me. Look what you made me do. I now have trust issues and I don't like it. I don't like seeing bodily fluids. Including that includes vomit and spit. Oh, like literally. I told him that and he's like, I'm sorry, I was a stupid kid. I'm like, I don't care. I don't forgive you. Especially if it was a long time ago. But we just laugh it off now. But I'm not his friend. But he says I'm his friend. And sometimes we sit in the cafeteria and we just gossip about our good old times. And I asked about his father and everything. And his father's doing okay. So is his mother. And I mean, he was nice enough to bring me some good Asian food. Indonesian food, to be specific. Yeah. I don't know if Indonesia is an Asian country, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah, I mean, yeah, he was nice enough. So, I mean, do I forgive him? No, because, I got injured and I don't have to carry a pea packet in my fucking forehead for the rest of my fucking preschool. Not really, until I graduated. Yeah. So, this is the end credits. So, if you enjoyed this video, I mean, I kind of doing StoryTime Speedpaint from now on, but who knows, I might move to animation too eventually. But I really, really need help with people helping me animate too. You know, making backgrounds and everything. If you want to help me, you could see me on Discord. I'll link my Discord username in the description. And also, yeah, most of these story times were for a long time ago, except for the one I talked about, which is recent. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, I hope if you enjoyed the video, I don't mind it. So sorry if I keep repeating myself. It's just the fact that I didn't have time to write an entire script for the end credits, and yeah. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next post. Adios.